Hey, good morning, everybody. Okay, this is basically part two of what I'm going to call a 389 Pontiac 389 refresh. It's not going to be like a complete rebuild. I'm just going to put rings and rod bearings in it. I will get new lifters for it, and then there'll be, of course, new head gaskets and all that. But where I'm at today is, of course, I'm getting ready to take these pistons out. And before I do, I'm going to have to, use the ridge reamer. And I don't know if you can hear this or not, but if you're not familiar with it, you got from the piston going up and down. The piston does not go all the way up to the very top. It stops. And over, 100,000 miles, it's going to create a buildup of metal. And you can feel it with your finger, but maybe you can hear it. You hear that? This one's not as much. This one's less buildup, but it's there. You can feel it with your fingernail. You can feel it with your finger. The other side, couple, same thing. This one's definitely, you got it. Good, I'll call it a lip. Same here. And so, just showing you that, and let's take a look at some other things now. Okay, back when I originally pulled this engine and took it all apart, of course I did remove the heads, as you can see, and when I did, I took all the hardware and I put it in. This is styrofoam. They got all kinds of different ways to, do this, but where I worked, they had lots of this stuff, and it was free, so that's what I did. And I, marked them left front, right front, and so on. And they got put in there, and I've never touched them since, and that's got to be 10 years ago. And as I said, I'd acquired a lot of parts, and I've got a 4-barrel intake, and that's the original carb that came with it. It's an AFB Carter. And then you got this little old 2-barrel, which is a Rochester 2-barrel. And the car that's in the garage has the 2-barrel on it, but I didn't mention it yesterday. That's what they call the 420. I don't know why Pontiac GM Division called their 389s a 420 engine, but they did, and I guess, people that are real knowledgeable about them would be able to tell me why, but I got what's called the 420E sitting in that Pontiac in the garage, and the 420E was what they called their economy motor, and it has dished pistons as opposed to what you got over here. These are flat pistons, and the economy one, they're dished out, and I think that it's rated at 8.5. It might even be 8-to-1 compression, but I know it's not over 8.5. So I like it. I can run, regular gas in it. These are pistons out of the other 389 motor I had that came out of the Bonneville. And like I said, see, they're flat. The tops are flat. They're not dished out. And I don't think these pistons are much good for anything, but I've got them and I'm keeping them for the time being. But that's the thing. When you take stuff like this apart, put it in a procession or whatever, that when you go to put it back, you push rods and everything is going back where it was originally. And I do want to go with the 4-barrel, that one there, but it needs to be rebuilt, and I'm not even sure if I can do it, because when I took this thing apart, that has been cleaned up a lot. Now this little 2-barrel, that one actually is rebuilt. It's ready to go, and I was going to put it on the Pontiac you saw in the garage, but the intake manifolds were different. Here goes that AC, because the economy carb is smaller and these are smaller. It's different. You can't put that onto that manifold, and I'd put the other manifold on, the economy manifold, onto the engine because it came with it. And when I went to put this carburetor on, you couldn't use it. And so then I had to rebuild the economy, and you can buy rebuild kits for either one of those Rochesters on eBay. There's a place that does makes a really good rebuild kit. Now here's the heads, and the heads, peculiar thing about them, this is a little note that I wrote to myself when I took these heads off, you know, like 10 years ago. And I'll tell you, I'm going to read it to you, and you'll see what I'm talking about. What I wrote on here was this. Hope I can read it. 59 Pontiac heads have water distribution tubes. Something or other, they do, I don't have my glasses on, I can't read it because I haven't got my glasses on. They're like flutes, okay? And if you're familiar with these, I know 59 and before had these water distribution tubes, which are these. And that's what, and they got these like little, well, I'll show you. What goes here on this head and here on this head looks like those little goosenecks that you see right there on the intake manifold. So you got two little ones here, and it's circulating water, and the water pumps would be down here. And these can be replaced, but I'll be honest with you, I'd be scared to death to try to pull this thing out and put another one in unless I can see something. I got manuals and they say you can do it, but they're, you know, they're old black and white picture books, and I'd like to see it actually perform. But I'm not planning to drive this thing across the country. I just want it to run so it starts up and sounds good and you can drive it around a little bit. You know, I'm splicing this thing back together, the front half of one and the, you know, the front and back half, and turning them into a two-seater if I get that far. But I think in 60 they had already done away with this, or definitely by 61. By 61, Pontiac was, you know, really getting these 389s. They were like the baddest thing around for, you know, they had a short period of time. That's why they had that song, Little GTO. I think it went, Little GTO, you know, you look so fine. 3 deuces and a 4-speed and a 389. Jan and Dean, maybe? I don't know, but that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna shut this video off here, and the next video I'll show where I'm getting with the ridge reaming. And everybody have a great day. Oh, there he is. That snooper, he just come walking in. This guy always wants to know what's going on. Take it easy, y'all.